Pregnancy horror movies are a subgenre of horror films that focus on the darker aspects of childbirth and motherhood. These movies often use pregnancy and childbirth as a source of fear and anxiety, depicting the process as a terrifying experience. Some of the most popular pregnancy horror movies include Rosemary's Baby, Shelley, Swallow, and False Positive. Pregnancy horror movies have been a popular subgenre of horror films for several decades, with a notable films from every era. While the themes and stories of these movies have varied over time, they have all centered around the fear and anxiety that comes with pregnancy and childbirth. With their unique blend of psychological terror and supernatural horror, pregnancy horror movies continue to captivate and terrify audiences around the world. These movies can be incredibly disturbing and graphic as well, so they may not be suitable for the audience. However, if you enjoy exploring the darker aspects of pregnancy and motherhood, these movies can be thrilling and terrifying experience. In the past 2 years, movie productions have been going heavy on pregnancy horror, so I'm here to filter out these movies and provide you with the recommendation of the top pregnancy horror movies to watch right now. The Hand That Rocks the Cradle is a 1992 psychological thriller that dives into the dark side of motherhood and mental illness. Directed by Curtis Hanson and starring Rebecca De Mornay, Annabella Scorer, and Ernie Hudson, this movie remains a classic gem in the genre. After her humiliated husband kills herself, as embedded pregnant widow loses her child and embarks on a mission of vengeance against a woman and her family, the film explores the darker side of human nature with its compelling plot, great performances, and thought-provoking themes. The Deliver is from the horror anthology TV series called Into the Dark. This movie is about a pregnant woman's life is upended when she realizes someone closest to her has a darker plan for her and the baby. The movie has very interesting but in a good way, and the movie set the tone as dark and disturbing, being trapped in an old home with no escape. The movie reminds me of Misery a little bit. Now, there is a trigger warning, which is animal cruelty. It doesn't show the cruelty, but it shows the dead animal. The movie will take you on a bumpy ride and thrills and disturbing behavior. Bed Rest is an original horror movie from Tubi. This film stars Melissa Burr, Guy Barnett, and Edie Inksetter. The film follows Julia, who has an accident and has to be on bed rest for the rest of the pregnancy, but she begins to wonder if her house is haunted or is it all in her head. This movie is a supernatural horror mixed with a haunted house. The storyline is straight to the point and it brings tons of thrills and jump scares. Prevenge is a British horror comedy that explores the darker side of pregnancy. The movie follows Ruth, a pregnant woman who's convinced that her unborn child is urging her to seek revenge on those she holds responsible of her partner's death. Prevenge is a unique and darkly humorous take on pregnancy horror, and Alice Lowe's performance as Ruth is a standout. The film also deals with the themes of grief and isolation, making it more complex and nuanced addition to the pregnancy horror subgenre. Inside is a French horror movie that follows a pregnant woman named Sarah who is terrorized by a stranger who breaks into her home on Christmas Eve. The stranger is after her unborn child, and the movie features some of the most intense and violent scenes. Inside is not for the faint of the heart, but is a masterful example of using pregnancy as the source of terror. The film's claustrophobic setting and intense pacing will have you on the edge of your seat from start to finish. In the Tall Grass, in 2019, released the horror movie In the Tall Grass based on the novel of the same name by Stephen King and his son Joe Hill. Directed by Vincito Natala, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, the film tells the story of a brother and sister who venture into a mysterious field of the tall grass in rural Kansas, only to become trapped and isolated as they are hunted by an unseen force. The most impressive aspect of the movie is the cinematography, which captures the claustrophobic and distorted nature. The film has a few flaws in it and still well made and engaging horror movie. The Bone Woman is a new horror movie that has been added to the pregnancy horror genre this year. This is a supernatural body horror film directed and co-written by Michelle Serva in her future film directorial debut. This film is about a woman named Vera who has long dreamed about becoming a mother after learning that she's pregnant. She expects to feel happy, yet something's off. Now, if you don't like pregnancy horror movies and it is not your thing, you should check out my top psychological horror movies to watch right now. Thank you so much for watching my channel. Make sure you like and subscribe, and until then, see you later.